करना पड़ेगा. Okay. So topic है control value accessor. अब control value accessor as in ये this is one of the thing by which we can actually create a reusable input element. Okay, we create reusable components, right? But when it comes to creating a reusable input element, either a text box, drop down, checkbox like this. So if you have to actually create a reusable input element component, there we have to use control value accessor. Now that control value accessor, how is it like? How does when we have a text box, let's say here we have a text box, input type text box. We create a variable, let's say user name colon data type string is equal to brand. Fonts model is there, and we bind this variable to this text box by using ng model. Okay, and once we update the variable value, it get updated. Once we update the text box value, means once text box value changes event trigger, whatever the text box value has, that value get assigned to this variable, right? This is how two-way data binding works. See? So how does it identify or how does it trigger like variable value got changed? Because of change detection. Means whenever we are updating, whenever text box value get changed, change detection event get triggered and new UI gets rendered with the updated value. Now consider like you have to create a reusable component but for text box. Okay. So I have created a component that is my text box. So now this text box, instead of writing it over here, I need to move this into my reusable component. Okay. So let's move it over here. Okay. Now this text box is there. Again, like in this reusable component, let me close everything. So if I have to use ng model, we have to go with forms model. Here it is, forms model. Just a minute. Huh? Okay. Now, first of all, control value accessor. When do we have to use it? When we are creating reusable input element component. Control value accessor, this term will come when you are creating reusable component, but in that component, what you are going to have? Either drop down text box input element. Okay. Now, first thing what we need to do, let's remove this or let's create this as a value. I'm just creating a normal variable. Okay. Value. And this value I will bind it over here. Fine. Now, let me just first write the whole functionality, then I will explain one by one. Okay. So now, whenever we have to create a reusable text box or reusable dropdown, because text box input type is everything, we will have it. But for dropdown, we have select. Okay. Now, here we will have provider section. What's the use of provider in component selector? What's the use of provider in component?
The service by location.
Right? So we can provide a service injection over here. Means inside this particular component, which service I'm going to use. And whatever the service you registered, there will be a single object. Guys, please be on mute. So, be on mute. So whatever the service you provide over here, there will be a separate object of that service for this component, not a singleton. What's the singleton service?
Which have same instance.
Which will have single instance overall your application. But if you register any service into any component, so for that component, that will be a single object of that service. Okay, it won't be a singleton. That object won't be accessible outside that component. A separate object will be created for particular component. Okay. Now, in provider, we have to add provide ng value accessor. Okay. Then we have to provide the component use existing forward ref, our component name, nothing but this, and multi-true. Okay. So this syntax, previously, this syntax we used to do in interceptor and everything. With older structure, na, if we have to add the, what do we say, interface into our app module, na, this is how, this was the structure. Okay. So now, if we are going, like which service you are going to use. So this is your service, ng value accessor. For what component, with what class you are connecting this service. So this class. Okay. And multi-true, multi-true. So don't know the use of multi-true. Let it be. But this is the syntax. Okay. This is the first thing we are doing. After that, we have created a variable. This variable we have binded to this text box by using ng model. This is straightforward one. After that, we need to create certain methods. Okay. So many methods will be there. Let's say on change. Now, some method will be as with empty signature, means that method won't have anything. Okay. Is equal to value data type colon string. Okay. So this is kind of a method, but it doesn't have any declaration. Means see, it's empty. This is the function, but in this function, we don't have anything. So just like on change is there, we can create on touch also. This will also be empty. So two functions we have created, which doesn't have any definition. Okay. After that, we need a value, that is write value. Okay. Make sure function name is this only for this write value. Okay. Round bracket. Here we will get a parameter as value, data type string. And whatever the value we get, this dot value, the local variable, instead of value, let's make it var. Whatever the parameter value we get, that we will assign to our local variable val. Write value method is there. Then we will have register method for touch and on change. Register register regsp on change. All these functions are mandatory. Okay, I will explain that also. If we remove some of them, how it behaves strange. Something will work, something won't work. Now here we will get function as a parameter. Okay, whatever the function definition we get, that we are going to assign to this variable on change. Means this function is responsible, this function is going to get another function as a parameter, and whatever the function we get, that we are assigning to this function. Okay, just like this, we will have one more function for on that touch. We'll investigate on TOU HAD. Okay, so register on touch, and on touch we will assign whatever the function value we get. Okay, so we need two empty function, one for on change and one for on touch. Then write value function. Name should be same, write value. And whatever the single variable you create now, which you bind to your text box, whatever the value you get, that you will assign it over here. Then you need two more function, register on change and register on touch. So these functions are responsible to register change detection function. These are not going to be called anywhere. Okay, you will see it. We are not going to call this function anywhere, but this will be automatically called to it trigger change detection function. Okay. Now, in your HTML, what you will do, a normal change event input function. So input, on this input, we will call on change function and we will pass value over here. Okay. Now let's use this function. Let's use this component into our user list component. Okay. Input must be automatically added. Fine. Now this variable, I can pass it over here as a ng model. Okay. This thing was not possible with normal till now, whatever the reusable component you might have seen. Was it possible like this? Or have we seen anything like this that we can pass ng model on a component selector,
No.
right? But if your reusable component has an input element and you want whatever the value you want to bind, you can bind that variable as a on a selector only. So you have to make use of control value accessor. Okay. So when you will use control value accessor, when you have to create a reusable input element. In so many big projects, you have got reusable components created for input and the drop down. And text area, again, one more thing is there, right? Different. Everything like input, checkbox, radio, everything will come in the input only, right? So what you will do here, you will pass one more input, and instead of having hard code this, you will property binding it, right? So you will need a single reusable component for text input type, then one for select and one for text area. Okay. Now let's so in user component, this variable, this is a local variable of user list. This we are printing it over here. This we are printing it over here also. Okay. Let's save and check if it is behaving properly. See, this is your parent component. Okay. Let me print username. So once I am changing the value on this text box, this variable is also getting changed. See properly. First, if you understand this, then only you will get it. If I'm changing the text box value, see variable value is also getting changed in the parent component. This text box is coming from our reusable component. See, and once I'm changing the text box value, my parent component variable value is also getting changed, behaving like a two-way data binding. Getting it? How? What's happening first? Everyone? So I have created a reusable text box component, and on the selector, I'm directly binding the ng model. This we used to do on the input element only, but I'm doing this on the component selector. So if you have a requirement like this, where you have to create a dynamic, means reusable input element component, so there you have to use this ng value accessor. Okay. Now let's add a debugger everywhere. Let's add a debugger. Oh, one more thing. In user list component, let's initialize some value 1, 2, 3. So at the page load, username has 1, 2, 3, and this username we are assigning over here. So my text box should render the value. This is a normal case, na? If a variable has some value and that variable we are using it on ng model, when that text box renders, that text box will render the variable value, right? So same thing should behave it over here also. See, 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 means both things. Variable, whatever the variable value is there, text box is rendering that. If I change it, variable is also changing. Getting it? Vice versa. How it was behaving with the normal text box, same thing you are behaving with your reusable component as well. Okay. Now let's try to add a debugger at every place. Debugger. Now see, this function I have not called anywhere, not in HTML also. This function also I have not called anywhere. Only, what was that function? This on change function. This I have called, but this function is empty, right? This function doesn't have anything, and this function I'm calling in the HTML. This function I have just written it, but I have not called it anywhere. So as I said, change detection will automatically trigger this. Okay, let's save it and let's check it now. Let's reload. So see, right value we got, currently value is null. Continue. So here you can see in function, we got some function. See, something function is there, new value. This function we got from the chain detection. See the definition of this function. I won't be able to hover on that. Are you able to see the definition? Pending value, pending change, pending dirty. This is you are getting from the chain detection mechanism. It's like a function. This function we are assigning to this function. Okay. Continue. Then just like that, change function also. I think it is empty. And see, this function again got. First, this function will execute when our text box and that value property get bind. Okay. This function will again trigger if we are using this component in a parent component, and from parent component we got some value. See, 1, 2, 3 value got, and this value we are assigning to our local variable. Okay. That's why this variable got printed over here. So once you see, if I'm changing value, no function is getting triggered. So as I said, these functions will automatically register that change event detection function on this variable. So once you change the text box value, this function is getting triggered, but by default, we don't have anything. Dynamically, we are assigning value to this variable. I know it's hard to process, but I have worked on it, so I know how it behaves behind the scene. If you are seeing this for the first time, it might be very confusing to you. But for now, remember, what's the use of control value accessor? When we have to create reusable component, and there we have a input element or a drop down or a text area. There only we use ng value accessor, or we call it as a control value accessor. Understood? And inside that, let's remove this function. We are not calling this function right anywhere. So if we remove, now if you check, it won't behave what it was behaving previously. See, it's only updating the text box value, but my parent variable is not getting changed. So as I said, all the functions are necessary, because this function, the function with this name, are getting triggered internally by the change detection system.
Is the function names need exact same register on
Yeah,
change?
register on change and register on touch. This function name should be same.
Okay.
And this too. This function name you can change, because this we are passing it over here, right? Okay. So this is how you can do. This function also name, all these function name should be same. These are your function, whatever you can have.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So clear, Pratik?
Yes, sir, clear.
Again, not important that you will be able to explain everything, and it is not expected also. But whatever you understood, you should put it over there. Like, where do we use control value accessor when we have to create reusable text box component? Because why we need like this? Because we are using ng model on a selector. So whatever the ng model variable you are passing it over here, this should be connected with your reusable component, that local variable, whatever the local variable. This you can do anything, right? This variable and this variable are connected. Okay. So as I said, in so many industrial application now, you won't find text box and drop down. You cannot use it directly. They have reusable component already created like this. So there they use everything. Again, so many input, placeholder, everything will be there, and you will be passing it. Understood?
Placeholder, how to use that one, Chetan, like in
Normal, na?
multiple places.
Input, normal input. This is a normal reusable component, na?
Okay.
Right? So you can have an input. Okay. And this placeholder text, you will add it as a property binding. Okay. Then in your parent component, you will pass the value. Same. Okay. If I remove it, you can see the text placeholder. Just like that, mean length, max length, required validation, all the validation will be done over here. Okay. Now this text box, you can use it on using angry model also, and the reactive form also. For reactive form, I think something different we have to do, but basically all things are same only. Logic is same. Reactive for something is different, I think. Understood? This is very hard concept. Not everyone will ask you, but someone might ask. If in their project they are using it, then only they will ask it. Not every project use this. Okay, understood everyone?
Uh, One question.
Yeah.
Uh, is it previously available or recently added?
This is from Angular 2 only. Nothing new.
Okay, not used previously.
No,
That's
from Angular 2 only we have it.
okay.
Okay. Because in Angular 6 I have created this. So I remember like in Angular 6 it was there. Okay. So just have those who are preparing and those who are in the interview, right? So just have a one time at least create it so that you will provide that answer very confidently. Okay. Pratik, just try this once. Then only you will be confident while answering. Okay. Fine all.
This all function name is mandatory, right to value on
Yes,
touch.
everything is mandatory or nothing will work properly.
Okay.
Okay. Chirag, do you got anyone for that support thing?
Yeah, he could not write the code.
Okay. The guy
So
we discussed, right?
3 days, yeah, 3 days he tried,
Hmm.
but he could not write a single
I
line
told
which
him
can
that
solve.
it's not easy, but he was overconfident. He might have worked
Yeah,
on normal projects.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you have anyone experience, then let me know.
Yeah. See, putting the message in that group now, it will everyone will respond. Yeah, I will do it. I will do it. But we know that no one will be able to do it.
Right.
Very hard to find.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm trying to optimize the code with my help, and
Mm,
he's doing little. But once some issue he solved, then other issues pop up.
mm,
So that is the one.
mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you have anyone, please let me know.
Yeah, I
Okay,
will find
thank
one.
you.
Then. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have any doubt or anything? Otherwise, we can close. Rahul, did you push the code?
Yes, Chetan, I have pushed the code.
Okay. So connect with Anjali. She will be integrating the report she has created. Okay. So just connect with her. Ask her that did she integrate the reports as well. Then again
Chetan,
tomorrow.
like I need clarity about that enrollment section. I have done that one batch creation. Okay.
Mm. Okay, now let's connect tomorrow. I will check
Yeah.
the code like what you have done. If it is not, I will correct it. Then tomorrow again I will explain it. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine.
Okay. Thank you all. Let me know like if anyone wants the mock interview or something. Okay. Of any like whatever like just whatever. Pratik told me this like this. This is the question he got asked. So if you are also in the same page, if you got some question, let me know. We can connect and I will explain. Fine. Okay. Thank you all.
Okay, sir. Thank you.